Hi, I'm making this video at the very early start of day 2 of week 2 of our 2-week English Boost course, part of the Lexical Lab Summer School. This is basically a kind of general English course where students get to choose the areas that they get better at talking about and develop their vocabulary about and get better at listening to conversations about. And every day we begin with some kind of revision activity to help students go back over what they've studied already. Because I think dealing with the language load that's needed to get to a stage where the students feel more confident is one of the main issues that they face as they're trying to progress as language learners. And one of the things that I try to do is to encourage students really, or push students a little bit to pay more attention to the language that they encounter. We talk a lot in English language teaching about the idea of noticing. And I think most people would agree that, noticing aspects of language is a good thing. But I don't think we often talk enough or think enough about what noticing actually means, or how we as teachers can go about actually forcing students to notice or encouraging students to notice a bit better. So this is just a little revision activity designed to make students a bit more aware of the fact that they could do more to notice on occasion. What we have here basically is the audio script of a listening that we did at the end of the class yesterday. We played this listening a couple of times. The first time students did a kind of general comprehension check with it and did very well with it. It's a sort of upper intermediate level listening text. And then the students read through and listened to it at the same time and underlined anything they weren't sure of. And what I've often noticed when students are asked to do this kind of thing is they basically read through very quickly because they more or less understand most of what they're reading and listening to. They generally don't underline things. And what worries me is that this sort of failure to just notice little bits that strike them as strange or unusual or slightly outside their own actual active English at this present time stops them from taking on board more of this language. There's a kind of, I understand all of this, don't bother me with this again kind of feeling. So what we have here is basically the audio script with 16 different words gapped. And they're sort of lexico-grammatical words, really. So the first one, do you go to the cinema much then? I go at least once a week. It depends what's on. Do you go much? Now and again. So some of them are much more kind of lexico-grammatical. Some of them are basically just grammatical. Some of them are more kind of parts of collocations or parts of fixed phrases. And all we'll do in class this morning is I'll say, so you did very well with that conversation yesterday. Yeah, you all read through that script. There wasn't much you underlined. I'm sure you noticed everything about it. Let's just have a quick look and see how much you remember. And the students can then try and go through that. And they can then compare in pairs and we'll go through it. And then I might talk a little bit about, it's good to pay a bit more attention to the language, even if you think you understand it, just to make sure you're noticing aspects which might be useful for you to learn in future. There you go. That's the first 20 minutes of day 2, week 2, English Boost. I shall now go and drink my first cup of coffee for the day.